Okay, so in this video, I'll be showing you how you can define your one ideal client, your one problem that you solve on LinkedIn, how you can clearly communicate that as well. Because if you're a coach that's been playing between maybe a few ideal clients or a few problems that you solve, then obviously this video can be for you. So, first things first, right? When we're thinking about, say, for example, like your niche, right? Your niche is often a like pretty much made up of the one person that you solve and the one problem that you solve as well. This is usually what your sort of niche is made up of. Now, what I've found that's quite common is that a lot of coaches that I speak to either have multiple are like people that they can help. But usually, it's almost always they have multiple problems that they help that they can solve, right? And this is understandable, right? Because obviously, I mean, even for me as a coach, like there's multiple people that I could help. There's multiple problems that I could solve. Really, the main thing is trying to identify, okay, well, which one, right? Because the thing is that if you say that you help, right? So, I don't know, I help, and then you help, this person, this person, this person. So, A, B, and C, and you have to apologize for my handwriting. Then the almost like the solution that you're offering doesn't feel as tailored to that individual, right? Like, because let's say, for example, I said, hey, I help, I don't know, coaches, agency owners, business owners, and creators, or, let's say it's, I don't know, creators, business owners, and coaches with signing clients on LinkedIn. You as a coach, or just you like even hearing this at the moment, you probably wouldn't really feel like there's as much value on that, right? Because it's targeted lots of different people. It feels like it just sort of, helps everyone. However, if I just targeted one and literally just said, hey, I help coaches. So in this case, I help coaches sign clients through LinkedIn. Then all of a sudden it feels a lot more tailored, even if the stuff I'm delivering and sharing could still benefit other people. There is like a value and power in just serving one person. So bearing in mind, when it comes to this, I like to think of, or at least let me just show you how I would like figure out, or at least get specific on one ideal client. Right. So first things first, if you haven't already, what I'd like, or at least what I usually do, is that I like to list out all of the potential people that I could work with. Right now, usually this will be maybe like three, four people, but I might list that out. So maybe for me, it might be like coaches, agency owners, CEOs, or something like that. Then you want, or at least what I like to do is I like to then ask myself a few questions. The first one is, do I like working with them? Or would I like working with them? And the reason why you want to do this is because if you wouldn't like working with them, then I mean, it's very easy to actually disqualify them immediately. The next thing is actually, do they have the budget? Right? Because obviously, if they can't pay you, or if most people under this type of individual can't pay you, then obviously, well, you're going to come across a lot of unqualified people that won't be able to pay. And then the last thing is, can you get them results? Right now, this is a really important one as well. Because, for example, let's say I was, say, a LinkedIn coach to CEOs, right? I don't really have a problem with CEOs. However, the thing is, they're probably going to be a lot busier, potentially, or at least in my head, a lot busier than, say, coaches, right? Or let's say we're talking about CEOs that are managing lots of people, right? It's going to be difficult to get them results because they're not going to have as much time and energy to put into, LinkedIn to get results from the coaching, right? So obviously in my case, I'd be like, oh well, maybe not, right? That might not be the case, as obviously like the like LinkedIn coaching in terms of when I'm helping my clients. Obviously, a lot of it is on their end in terms of being able to put in the results and put in the work that obviously in terms of stuff I give them. So obviously like that, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, well, busy CEOs and CEOs managing lots of people probably aren't going to be the best sort of thing to do." So then we have the next thing, right? Because now that we got pretty solidified on the one person we're trying to help, then now we want to try and go to the one problem or just pain that we help solve. Now, if you've sort of seen my profile and seen a bit more about me, you'll know that the sort of pain that I help, solve is helping people sign clients through LinkedIn. Right, that's pretty much the main one there. Sure, I guess it's still a bit broad, but it's one problem, right? Or at least it's one thing that I help solve. Now, I could solve multiple different things, right? So for example, right? Let's say I help obviously like sign clients, which on my banner I clearly communicate that the core result they're getting is more revenue for their business, right? Now, however, I could also, if I really wanted to, I could also say that I help people to get more impressions and more attention to what they're doing. I could even say that maybe, I don't know, I help coaches build their brand and, raise awareness and build authority and stuff like that. It's like I can do that. However, if I try and communicate all of this and all the stuff that I do, it gets confusing. Because although it might seem simplistic and fairly like okay in your mind, to your ideal clients, you don't want them to have to use really any brain calories to figure out what you do. You want to make it super clear, which is why what like when coaches come across my profile on LinkedIn and they see I help coaches sign clients through LinkedIn, they know immediately. They don't have to use any brain calories or any effort to know exactly who I help, what I do, and how I do it. It's very much just to the point and it's there. So this is why we want to just focus on one problem. Now, there's usually a few questions that I will consider when trying to identify this one problem, because I'm sure at the moment you can probably help your clients solve multiple problems. And honestly speaking, a lot of the things you do, or at least the one problem, let's say that you help your clients solve that you pick. Naturally, by solving that problem, you're probably going to solve some other problems, right? So, for example, if I help my clients sign clients through LinkedIn, chances are, because of the content they're making, they might naturally get more impressions and they're naturally going to build their brand because they'll get signing more clients, which means they'll get more results, which they can then share about, right? So, really, the first thing I like to consider is well, is there an overarching problem? And like I said, my handwriting's awful. Is there an overarching problem that if you solve that, like chances are solved lots of the, say, like the other problems you help solve? Right. So for example, like me saying, hey, I help you sort of sign clients through LinkedIn. Well, that's gonna entail say helping you get leads on LinkedIn, helping you book sales calls on LinkedIn, right? It sort of like bunches it all together and said, hey, I help you do the whole thing. Right. So that for me, in my case, obviously signing clients was more of an overarching problem. As it also includes me helping coaches get leads with LinkedIn and also booking calls with LinkedIn. That's really the first thing. So the second thing I like to consider when I'm coming to like pick the problem is well, what are like what are my clients or perhaps even ideal clients come to me as the most common or most painful problem that they have, right? What is that core thing, right? Because for example, you can actually have people coming to you or maybe even clients that you chat to that struggle with multiple problems. Fair enough. Is there one that keeps coming up, right? Is there one that keeps coming up that keeps that is, like, very much, like, familiar to you that just seems like, "Hey, this just seems like what all my clients are dealing with no matter," right? Because if they're the really common problem that your clients are dealing with that when they come to you, or even just ideal clients like prospects and such that come to you that struggle with, then it makes sense, right? And bearing in mind, obviously, if that's even an overarching problem, then it makes sense to focus down on that one problem. Now, the only last thing I'd really say is, are you confident? Are you confident in being able to solve that problem for your clients, right? Because if you're not confident being able to solve that problem for your clients, or perhaps there's a problem that you do help your clients with that you would be more confident at helping them achieve and get through and such, then it makes more sense to do that, right? So, for example, right, obviously at the moment, I'm sort of, hey, I help coaches sign clients through LinkedIn. There's not really much point of me trying to say go down the route of helping say clients, I don't know, go viral or get loads and loads and loads of impressions and engagement because I'm not confident I can do that. I'm not confident that I can help them do that. What I am confident in is I am confident in being able to help them get leads through LinkedIn, book sales calls, sign clients through LinkedIn, which obviously signing clients is the overarching thing. And why am I confident in that? Because I've done it before, right? In my features section on LinkedIn, I showcase the results. I'm confident that I'm able to do it for myself and even for my clients as well. So this is really why this is quite key, because if you're not confident in doing it, then naturally you're going to be floating between a few things. So overall, this is pretty much what I like to consider, because at the end of the day, what is really key, just for you as a coach in general, but even on LinkedIn and be able to show this, is that you are really solidified on your niche in terms of the one person that you help and the one problem that you solve. If you have multiple, I really recommend you go and you sort of niche down and you just pick one or either. Now, if you're really worried about this, what I would do is just pick one person and one problem and stick to it for about 30 days, maybe 60. Don't worry about having to marry to this, right? You don't have to marry to the one person you solve, the one person you help, or the one problem you solve. Just pick one of either and stick to it for at least 30 days and see how it goes. I might recommend maybe 30 to 60 days, but that's what I'd usually recommend. Because that said, if you can pick one ideal client and you can really ask yourself, okay, well, would I like working with this person? Do they have the budget? Can I get them results? Right? If you ask those questions, that should be able to nail down to one person. And if you're obviously picking between two and you're juggling between two, then just pick one and stick to it for about 30 to 60 days and see how it goes. Same with the problem, right? You want to be able to figure out, okay, well, I can help my clients solve multiple of these problems. What's the overarching problem that maybe contains a few, right? So for me, I could help people, or at least coaches, with say lead generation, with booking sales calls, and signing clients with LinkedIn. However, signing clients with LinkedIn kind of entails the whole lead generation and the sales call stuff. So it makes sense just to clarify that at the top. Second thing, what are say your clients and say prospects saying to you and communicating to you as their main problem, right? Because if you can really see this and then obviously communicate that in terms of what you do and show that on your LinkedIn profile and even in your content, then that's obviously going to be invaluable. And the last thing, are you confident in being able to solve that problem? Because if you're confident in being able to solve the problem that your clients are coming to you about and such, then that's what you really need to consider. And like I said before, right, what you're going to find is this, right? You can probably help multiple people with, what you do naturally, right? Just like how you know, I could help, say, agency owners, CEOs, or, whatever spectrum get clients through LinkedIn. However, there is a power in being able to solve or at least help one person with one core problem. So overall, this is pretty much what I wanted to cover in this video because I find that if you can solidify these, this is really going to help. Now, if you are a coach that's looking to try and sign clients through LinkedIn, I do actually have a free Leads with LinkedIn school community, which at the moment I'm running a bit of a 7-stage LinkedIn lead gen challenge. Which, if you're interested in that and you're trying to sign more clients through LinkedIn, make sure to join in the link in the description. Other than that, hope you found this useful, and I'll chat soon.